felt the pressure or whatever, or for whatever reason didn't perform. It was a little bit surprising to me, and obviously a little bit disappointing to me too. But I think we'll see the real guy come now, and hopefully this will take the pressure off of him, and he can go back to, like you say, being just Brian Hoyer, because that's enough for this team to perform reasonably well and win almost as many games as they lose.
Right. No, I'm with you there. And, I do disagree slightly. I agree on the 3rd and 1. I'm in the camp that's not – yes, Brian Hoyer definitely could have made a better throw. I mean, quarterbacks can always make a better throw on Hawkins in the end zone. But that ball was still – it wasn't too high. He reached it with both hands. I mean, to me, you make that catch if you're an NFL wide receiver.
Yeah, it's true. The ball was catchable. You are right.
Yes.
The ball was catchable. But I
agree. It could have been a better throw.
Same with a couple of balls that Gordon failed to catch. Yeah, it was a little bit behind him. Yeah, it was on your back hit, but an NFL receiver makes that catch. Same with Cameron, who didn't come up with one or two that maybe he's going to make 9 times out of 10. So yeah, certainly the quarterbacks didn't get any help from receivers who dropped some catchable balls, even if they weren't perfectly thrown.
I could be wrong, and I'm not even saying this in the worst way, because I understand as we see guys getting hurt in the preseason, I understand this mindset, even though they do say that when you go half speed, that's how you get hurt. Is it just me, or does Jordan Cameron really look like he's kind of just trying to get to week 1? He's in a payday season here. He's in contract negotiations. He seems a little distracted, whether it's not catching some balls that, like you said, that he would in the regular season. And I think Coach Pettin has caught that in a lot of players, not just Josh Gordon, who got focused on for being a little lackadaisical, but I think he's noticed that because he mentioned several times in the last few days. I was on his conference call, and he mentioned about we expect regular season effort in the preseason, and he stressed it a couple of times to where I think it must be in his mind that it's not just one player. He's kind of getting that preseason effort from several players, which may be contributing to the difficulty in getting everybody on the same page. Again, now that it's Hoyer, that's the other good thing, is that we're not practicing. We're not doing pistols anymore. We're not teaching different plays and different rollouts for the next 2 weeks. It's the same playbook. It's the same 11 players on every play. And now let's see if we can get this thing tuned.
Yeah, that's true, and hard to climb inside players' heads, but yeah, it's certainly fair to speculate that Cameron might have a little bit of contractitis or whatever you might want to call it. But
in the preseason,
I don't know how much. I don't know how much you can read into a dropped ball, or maybe a guy who didn't really lay out and sell out to catch a pass where during the regular season he might. The intensity isn't quite there in the preseason, and we got to get used to that idea.
I'll tell you, who was it? I got to give him kudos because he may not play another game for the Browns. Krause, talking about laying out for a pass. Was it late in the 3rd or early in the 4th quarter across the middle? Or what was it? No, it was on Shaw's drive. It was on one of Shaw's drives down in the 4th quarter. Did you see him? There's a guy fighting for a job. He laid out for a pass, man. I'm like, man.
Yeah, that's true. And the kid, too, 15, that runs back kickoffs more. 2 games in a row now. Has looked pretty darn good doing that. I don't know if the guy's got any hands at all, but he'd be getting a second look from me just on the basis of some kickoff returns where he's looked pretty darn good.
Dr. Football, when the Browns picked him up a couple of weeks ago, Bill pointed him out to me and said, hey, man, this is a guy that hasn't really gotten his shot to catch on. He's had some injuries and some different things that have cost him the momentum as he was building it. But he said, hey, look out for that guy, especially you guys needing wide receivers. And you're right, the little bit that we've seen from him, I say, hey, man, this guy might. And obviously Gabriel's another one. But the fact that those guys are being talked about, it's because the other ones are not yet getting in and getting any kind of distinction yet as far as. And let me ask you, while we're talking about receivers, I was telling somebody this morning, if we're getting this team ready for week 1, I don't play Josh Gordon Saturday. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I thought one of the real head scratchers in that game, and also a sign of the desperation of the offense to actually complete a pass, when Josh Gordon came in the game on 3rd and long in the 4th quarter, your star player, not only your star player, but a player who's not going to be on your team come this fall, let's put it that way, who knows for how long. is brought into the game in the fourth quarter, your stud receiver, just so you can pick up a first down in the red zone. I think he caught the ball down around the 10-yard line. I think it was 3rd and 9 or 10 or 11 or something like that. And you know, the commentators noted, hey, why is Gordon in the game here in the fourth quarter? Well, it's because no one else can catch a ball. You can only rely on Josh Gordon to make a play for your team to get a first down in the red zone. That was a little bit surprising to me, and sort of a little bit of a desperation play by the coaching staff to stick him in there for one play. But I agree with you. Let's go with the guys we're going to be playing with on September 7th in Pittsburgh, and Josh Gordon isn't one of them, no matter how talented the kid might be. So yeah, I'm with you to let's play the guys that are going to play.
I mean, that's the thing, too. But although I will say, I talked about this yesterday, you and I haven't talked since the game. I don't think it was because they were trying to get a first down in a preseason game. Josh Gordon was out there in the fourth quarter because he was showing up the coaching staff earlier and lackadaisical and lollygagging his way around. And I think that's what that was. I think that was a you show me up, I'll show you up. You're going to play in the fourth quarter when we don't normally put a guy of your stature out there because I want to teach you, whatever. And I don't mean teach you a lesson like that, like so punitive. But yeah, that's why he was out there, man.
That's an interesting take. It occurred to me afterwards that maybe the millions of dollars that they're paying him, maybe they figured, well, let's get some productivity. Let's get some productivity out of the guy because that's going to come to a screeching halt here pretty soon. Let's get a little bit of our money's worth before we sit him down for 2 or 3 months or whatever.
I think it was a little bit of a kickback from Coach Pettin. I think it was, hey, and I mentioned this yesterday, not only are we as a franchise doing our best to not only help you deal with this, but shield you from the media, protect you. This could be a lot worse if you were in a different media environment that wasn't Cleveland. And I think the Browns feel that they have gone above and beyond to I'm trying to think of the right word, to keep a protective umbrella over Josh Gordon, even though he's gone out and screwed it up again. So I think that combined with the fact that, because every day, coaches, just like the quarterbacks, he's dealing with, those are his two questions, quarterbacks and Josh Gordon, every day, quarterbacks and Josh Gordon. And I think that when you're doing that, when you're going out of your way to protect a guy who caused his own problems, but you're going to, try to help him the best you can. And then he's showing you up during a game. I had no doubt in my mind when I heard Gruden and those guys saying, Mike Pettin doesn't know what he's doing. Why would he have Josh Gordon out there in the fourth quarter? Well, because that's why. It's because, on top, you're in this position. We don't even know if you're going to play or not. And then you're going to also screw around with me. You know what? You can go out there and play in the fourth quarter. And hopefully it embarrasses you. And then you can get mad all you want. But yeah, I truly believe that was a lot more of him being lazy than anything. It wasn't because they wanted a first down that badly in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean?
Well, let's put it this way. Completing passes in that game was, like trying to turn some kind of a miracle. So I guess maybe they figured that was one of their best shots. Maybe Josh can pick it up for us. Anyway, interesting take on your part there on that. I obviously you can't. I don't imagine Pettin was asked about him or whether he would have given a straightforward answer even if he had.
Oh, no, he did. But, he was asked. He did not give the most directly straightforward answer, but he definitely said that we weren't happy with some of the effort and we weren't happy with what, he was even asked about Gordon. He said there were a couple of plays. This was his exact quote. He said there were a couple of plays, we just talked about it in the meeting, where we would have definitely wanted more effort from Gordon. He specifically pointed out that there was preseason effort on several plays, and we want regular season effort. So he did I got to give him credit. He didn't just completely say, yeah, Josh Gordon was lollygagging, but he said, hey, there were a few plays where we wanted more than we got out of him, which is as close as a coach is going to get to saying, yeah, he took plays off.
Right. Interesting.
So he did come out. He was asked about it, and he addressed it and said that hopefully this is the last time I'm talking about this. And you know what? Maybe the question gets answered. I'm not even going to be one of these guys that speculates maybe Thursday or last week everybody was saying Friday's the day that there's going to be a Josh Gordon decision, and then Friday passed and there was nothing. And then now here they're waiting again. What are we like? By the way, isn't it into 17, 18 days since the hearing now? I mean, we are definitely into that third week of the 1 to 3 weeks that they talked about.
Yeah, we're right on it. The hearing was the 1st of August, if I'm not mistaken. So another day or two.
We're 20 days into this thing, man.
Almost 3 weeks, yeah. So, we're, it's interesting because I don't know if every other suspension decision, every other case around the NFL has already been adjudicated and determined, or if there are some others hanging in there, or if Gordon is the only one.
He's the only one now, unless anything new. He is everybody else is all adjudicated or whatnot. So
yeah,
it's just Gordon.
And the thing of it is, we wouldn't even be talking about it had ESPN not broken the story months ago with Outside the Lines, and we'd all be completely in the dark and probably wouldn't even know that there was a suspension to be talked about. Without the reporting done by ESPN, but anyway, so at least we would be in the dark, but we wouldn't be as anxious or impatient as we are to find out what the situation is.
For sure. And it wouldn't be a Johnny Manziel segment without asking you about his latest. I'm just curious because I have my opinion. We talked a lot about it, and I'm not going to get too far, but the whole flipping the bird, everybody gone haywire about that. But what's your take on that? To me, it's just immaturity. It's just, I did say yesterday it showed a little bit of punk, a little bit of, some guys will stand to your face and go, hey, man, what you going to do about it? And then some guys, as they're running in the house, they look back and they stick their tongue out, and then they go run and close the door. And that kind of felt like that to me. But what was your take on that?
Well, my take is it's small potatoes, first of all. He was criticized for, like he said in the post-game press conference. He didn't exactly take the politically correct company line, which was to say that was an immature thing to do. It was not terribly professional of me or whatever else. Never criticized himself. He basically said, well, I guess I got to understand that it's Monday Night Football, and therefore the cameras are going to be sort of focused on me all the time. So I got to be more careful about that. In other words, I got to pick my moments where I flip the bird, as opposed to, I did something that was immature and lacked poise and lacked professionalism. No criticism of himself. Just, hey, I got to be smarter about it in the future when I'm on a national televised game. That I got to be more careful. So,
I love
anyway,
when he
I
acts
thought maybe
surprised,
he delivered the wrong message after the game, but like I said, it happens all the time, and it's more blown up because it's him, and it's really small beer, as they say.
I like the quote, though. I like that he's surprised. There might be a camera on me from, he's always surprised at the amount of attention. But yet, okay, the first time you could be surprised. The millionth time, and you encourage it. But my biggest takeaway from this is you have just, if you didn't, whatever target that you had on your chest previously, the Browns may have saved your life by making you the backup quarterback because it just expanded even bigger. And as you can see in the preseason, they were mocking the money, and they were having some fun at getting in the mind of him. So I wouldn't be surprised when I saw him flip the bird. I was telling my buddy I was watching the game with, I said, right now there's locker room pools being put together. Guys are throwing 50s in to see how much they can rankle the kid and get him to do it again, and get him get inside of his head. I said, right, I'd be doing it. I got 50. Watch this. Watch what I do to him when I go out.
And we heard during the game and after the game about how they were jawing at him, and they were talking to him about how you're not so fast anymore, are you? And
he's not.
The players on defense are now as fast as you are. You're not going to run around back there and make plays in the backfield. You're going to get hammered down to the ground. But this is also a kid who, again, why surprise? Because people have been talking to you like this since you were playing in college.
Yep.
You've been getting that earful from opposing players every game since you started getting some national recognition. So people talking at you, taunting you, jawing at you, mocking you, whatever, that isn't new to you, so shouldn't be a surprise to you. And you should also have maybe thickened up your skin a little bit so that you're not going to feel the need for obscene gestures when it happens because you're supposedly used to it. In other words, and if you're not, grow the hell up.
And besides that, you shouldn't be able to hear them anyway because you're too busy with so much money in your hand, you know? So,
that's right. And also concentrating on, your job.